What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the counterintuitive reason why a bad economy is actually good for Airbnb and short-term rentals. So if you're interested in learning about that, then stick around all the way to the end of the video, where I'm going to also share with you some unique tips and things that you can do in order to leverage this opportunity. Now, to start off with, I know it sounds really counterintuitive for me to say that a bad economy is good for business. So let me explain why. The reality is Airbnb has gotten a lot of flack for a really long time about being unaffordable compared to hotels. And this is largely due to their cleaning fees and higher prices, these different things. But the reality is Airbnb is far less expensive than staying at a hotel for a lot of different categories of travelers. Not all, but a lot of different categories. And I'll be the first to admit that if you're traveling solo and you're looking for a place to stay just on your own, there's a pretty good chance that staying at a hotel is going to be more affordable for you than staying at an Airbnb, especially if you're staying for a very short period of time. The reason for this is straightforward and very intuitive, right? A hotel has economies of scale. They can hire their in-house staff, they can, order their linens in bulk, they pay for everything in bulk, whereas a solo short-term rental operator is buying everything in one. They're not going to be able to hire an in-house cleaning staff. They're going to have to pay someone travel time to get over there and clean it. And that's why cleaning fees are going to be more expensive and overall stays are generally going to be more expensive. That being said, when you go and try to extend for a longer period of time, or you stay with a larger group of people, it's very quickly going to become a lot more affordable to stay at a short-term rental property, an Airbnb, as opposed to a hotel. The reason for this is simple. They're offering much less services that require actual manpower. For example, if you stay at a hotel for a long period of time, then you're going to have daily housekeeping because that's just built right into their pricing. Whereas with short-term rental, the nice thing is you only pay for that one cleaning fee to cover the one cost of cleaning. So the longer you stay, the less that becomes as a nightly amount that you're paying for a cleaning fee. The other big piece is that short-term rentals can just accommodate more people more easily. It's going to be really difficult to find a short-term rental property that isn't going to be less expensive than getting 4 hotel rooms if you're traveling with a group of 8 people, because you're just not going to find places in the hotel inventory that accommodate that many people, and especially that do so comfortably. So the reality is, if you're traveling with a family or a larger group of people, you're almost certainly going to be paying less than you would to stay at a hotel, and you're going to be getting a much better value because you're going to get things like a yard, you're going to get a full kitchen, a full living room, and not just an actual bed inside of a room with a TV and maybe a little kitchenette. So for that reason, Airbnb is still a very affordable, a very cost-effective option for traveling. Now, the other big thing is that when people do staycations, which is generally what people do when the economy is worse, because buying international flights and all the other things, they tend to add up and make your trip a lot more expensive. Doing a staycation on Airbnb is honestly just a lot nicer than doing a staycation at a hotel, because if you're doing a staycation, you're probably going only a couple hours from home, and one of the big factors that's going to draw you to take that staycation and actually get away is the place you're going to, the actual place you're staying in. So for example, a lot of people like to get out of big cities and spread out, and they like to go to cool, unique places to stay at a couple hours away. And sure, having different attractions or amenities nearby, like hiking or skiing or a body of water like a lake or a national park, things like that, that is really helpful. That's a location thing that does help you out tremendously. But also just having a really cool place to stay and having really cool amenities that make it fun to stay at that actual property, that's a big selling feature when people are looking to book their staycation. And again, those two things in combination make it a lot more desirable to book Airbnbs when the economy is bad. Because what we know about traveling during the bad economy is that people tend to, number one, cut back and try to spend less. And so therefore, anyone traveling in larger groups, traveling for extended periods of time, they're going to want to go to Airbnb and move away from hotels to cut back on that expense. And they also want to travel more locally because that helps do number one, which is cut back on expense. And hyper-local travel, staycation type tourism is a lot more popular and just a lot better on Airbnb than if you compare it to staying at a local hotel. Guys, just want to take a quick break here to say that for those of you watching who want to build cash flow and long-term wealth by purchasing Airbnbs and short-term rental properties, there's a link in the description right down below for a free training that'll walk you through my exact strategy for investing successfully in Airbnbs. Now, if you're not ready to actually buy properties and you want to get started managing other people's properties on Airbnb the same way I got started and build a full-time income managing other people's properties, there's actually another free training linked in the description down below as well that'll be a really great fit for you. So whether you want to invest in short-term rental properties and actually build amazing cash flow and long-term wealth by acquiring the assets, buying the properties themselves, or you're looking to earn a full-time income managing other people's properties on Airbnb, we've got some awesome trainings that are linked in the description down below that'll definitely help you out. When you sign up for the trainings, we're also going to send you a few other tools and resources completely for free just to help you get started. Again, the links to sign up are in the description down below, and both trainings and all of the tools are completely free. So make sure to register for the trainings, links in the description down below. So that is why in a bad economy, Airbnb and short-term rentals actually tend to do better. We tend to see a lot of growth in the market, and we also see a lot of people coming over and hosting more properties on Airbnb. So these two things in combination are happening together, which means that if you're managing other people's properties, I've talked about this in a recent video, where that's going to actually result in more demand for your services. And on the flip side of that, if you actually do a good job beating out the competition and staying among the top 25 or even top 10% of hosting your area, you're probably actually going to see an uptick in occupancy rate and potentially even an overall uptick in your booking revenue if you do a good enough job. So I just want to put this video together because a lot of people think that it's all doom and gloom with the bad economy. And I'm here to remind you that there are opportunities everywhere. In any part of the market cycle, you can leverage different opportunities. For example, right now, my property is doing just as well as it was last year at this time, right now, and that's when everyone is now panicking, freaking out, thinking it's the end of the world. Property values have gone down significantly in that area, and yet the properties are still performing just as well. So there's a lot of opportunity to either buy the right property and invest strategically into short-term rental properties right now. When everyone else is panicking and trying to sell their property, you can potentially get a really, really great deal on a property that's still going to perform exactly as well as it would have a year ago. And also on the management side, there's just lots of opportunity coming up. Again, I put together a whole other video recently going through the reasons why there's a big boom in demand for Airbnb short-term rental management. And so if you really understand what's actually going on and don't just listen to all the headlines, then you can start to spot opportunities where everyone else is just panicking and fearful. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you gathered some useful information that you're going to use to succeed for yourself, whether it's managing properties or hosting your own place or investing in short-term rental properties. If you want our help with that, as always, the links are down in the description down below for our free trainings on co-hosting, on investing, whatever you need help with. As always, if you liked this video and got value from it, make sure you show us by hitting that like button down below the video there, and also by subscribing. You can stay up to date with the 2 new videos we post every single week here on the channel. Just hit that subscribe button and you'll stay up to date with that. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.